Okay, so hello everybody. I'm Kevin Matthew, and this is the first of an ultimate wedding planner checklist. Okay, so I'm from a company called Made It 94, and the idea is that we're going to get local people who are experts in their field to help you guys when you're planning your wedding. The aim is to provide you with everything from your hair, your makeup to hiring a car, for example, right? And today we've got the best of the bunch. So we've got Aileen from the Vintage Beauty Box in St Andrews, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So the wedding mecca.
Exactly. Okay, so basically to kick it off with, I'd like you, Aileen, just to tell us guys a bit about your background experience and how you got involved in it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, hi everybody. So my name's Aileen. I own the salon, the Vintage Beauty Box, which is based in a hairdresser's within St Andrews. So it's Sophie Butler Hairdressing. My history within the beauty industry goes quite far back. I started off like 2003, I think it was. It's quite a few years ago, and went to college to train in beauty. Now, at the time back then, you didn't do makeup courses standalone. It was part of your beauty course. When I left college, I got a job at the Old Course Hotel in the spa there, and we did basically massage or wedding parties. That was it, wedding makeups. So it was the two things. You got the odd facial, but nothing much.
Okay.
From that, I decided that I really wanted to concentrate in the more makeup aspect and specifically bridal makeup because it was something we were constantly asked for. So that was great. That I had the background for it, but I knew I needed to take my qualifications further. So I decided to go back to college and moved to Glasgow and study makeup for 2 years, and then ended up working freelance as a makeup artist, plus working with the likes of MAC, Illamasqua, places like that, to do lots of different different makeup looks, from your glam nights out through to your weddings, and then ended up getting a job as an educator within the beauty industry.
I read that actually on the website.
I know, it's like, wait, it's such a varied career I've had within the industry. It's been great. So I ended up as an educator for this company, and one thing that they wanted me to teach was actually makeup applications specifically for salons to use for brides. So working with that brand, which was Jane Iredale, and that's the brand I actually still mainly use today. I do have other bits and bobs, but mainly use that today. It's after 5 years of travelling the length and breadth of the UK and Ireland, I decided to settle down and open my own business. So, and that's where we are now. 5 years later, we've been going for. So
you guys have got a lot of experience, so that's perfect. So I have got a little bit of a piece of paper here with lots of questions.
Perfect.
To you, and it's all about giving these guys some advice when they're planning their wedding. Okay, so how far in advance should the bride and groom book?
So we get a lot of people contacting us, and it can be anything from sort of 2 to 3 years in advance.
Wow.
It's basically as soon as the ring is on the finger, suddenly planning mode goes. And having been there, I did the same. I give myself a year to plan my wedding, but I had everything planned within the first week of being engaged.
When would you say is the cutoff?
The cutoff for the last sort of time for it, I would say you want to have everything booked within by about 6 months before your wedding. The reason for that with hair and makeup specifically is that you need to allow time for trials, and St Andrews being what it is, we get a lot of visitors to the area. So we have people coming from the likes of Australia, New Zealand, America, big for America, even down in London. They come up and they have to book a trial because it is really important that you get to know the person, and it's not just a case of...
Sorry to jump in. If they've got 6 months, what's the likelihood of them not getting you then?
For me, my clients, because I run a salon and it has, you know, I do everything within that salon.
Yeah.
My clients actually know that Fridays and Saturdays are mainly bridal in the summer
Right.
months. So if you're in peak time with me, there is quite a good chance. I tend to open my book the October, November, before the year starts.
Right.
So for example, for this year, I opened my book in November there, for my diary. So I took everybody's details and said that I would contact them, and it was basically first come, first serve. So a lot of people do that, but I would say you want to have it definitely in place before 6 months of your wedding date,
Yeah.
so that you have time to have that trial and to make sure that you know are happy with what's going on. You can make tweaks and things like that.
Right. Okay. Definitely. And if there's a specific a makeup artist or hairdresser that they would want.
Yeah, definitely. What I would say is get in touch with them as soon as you know, and what they'll probably say to you, what we've been doing is we've literally, because we've just actually had wedding inquiries for next year, and we've just said, do you know what, you're in our diary, you're currently number 4 in the list.
Right.
You will be contacted when we open our book, and they are the first people that we contact about it. So if you have someone specific you want, you get in touch with them and you almost sort of propose the date to them and say, can you let me know as soon as your book's open? But don't expect to get a confirmation of it, particularly with the hair salon that we're in, and not for me, because I know myself, and like I know, okay, well, I'm going to take my holidays, like I book my holidays quite far in advance. So I'm already looking at next year's holiday selection for me, so 2021 already, and going, right, well, this is the dates I want to be off because they match in with my husband's dates. So we kind of plan quite far. But when you've got a salon that has quite a large number of people, you have a lot of people's holidays to get in. So don't expect the hair salon or the beauty salon or the makeup artist, if there's a lot of them doing it, to come back and say 100% 2 years in advance I'll confirm, because they don't know where they're going to be. So that's one of the things that we are trying to get across to people as well, is that we don't know exactly if, you know, like I'm just picking names out of the hat here, like Claire is definitely going to be available, or, you know, Courtney's still going to be with us, because people in this industry do move around a lot. So it is something to be aware of when you're doing it, and you can put in specific requests, but don't count on it until it's confirmed.
Right. Okay. Number 2, how many can one makeup artist do in a day per wedding?
Per wedding, I cap mine at 6. Any more than 6 in a wedding party, I say I need to bring an assistant with me. Obviously, bringing an assistant means extra, it increases the budget basically. So I can do 6 within it. Most of my wedding parties are anything sort of 4 to 6 people that I will have coming in for makeup. And the reason that we want to not overwhelm them is so that every single person gets the same level of makeup. Obviously, the bride is the most special, and a little bit longer is spent with her. But, you know, I would say, yeah, you want everybody to feel that no one's been rushed in a day. Yeah, there's still things that we need to do as well. So 6 maybe doesn't sound a lot when it's like a 45-minute appointment. You're thinking, well, I'm not getting married till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But what you have to think about is we need to clean our brushes we also need to prep skin. We need to do, if it's just me coming out, it's not just about throwing makeup on people. Sometimes the bride will have had a consultation or a trial with me, but the bridesmaids haven't. So each bridesmaid needs at least 5 to 10 minutes of me chatting about what they want, and then making sure that the bride's happy with it.
Good. Number 3, any advice for couples to keep their face, men, women as well, you know, healthy before the wedding?
So many things that you can be doing. I would definitely say find a reputable salon in your local area that you know that they're using good quality products. And by good quality, I don't mean expensive. I mean ones that are scientifically proven to treat the skin and to maintain the skin. So you're looking at ones that are more on what's known as a cosmeceutical basis. So that means it actually goes into the skin, and they have facials that complement it as well. You want to go to someone who has a good reputation for that. You don't really want facials that are just going to fluff and puff. And you want to start that around about a year before, if you have the time to do that. because you don't want to be looking like 2 weeks before going in and saying, right, well, I have acne and I need that sorted, or my skin's really dry and flaky, I need it sorted in 2 weeks, because really and truly you're not going to have the best results with that. So men and women should be booking their facials, and these facials don't need to be, you know, like one a day for however long. So yeah, so it depends on the concern. So there's the reason I don't have a lot of makeup on today actually is just this leads into it, is that I've just been on a training course for skin peeling, which is something that brides and grooms could have done in the run up to their wedding. The type of peel that I particularly use, you need to do a course of 6 within sort of 6 to 7 weeks, depending on how the skin reacts. And then it can take a wee bit of time for the actual results to come through from it. So you've got to take that into consideration. So some people, it will be recommended once a week. Most of my clients, when they come in and they have a deadline in mind, I will work out what's the optimum for them. And it's normally sort of 3 to 6 weeks that they would be coming back, roughly. But everyone is different with that. But yeah, so peels, facials, I'm absolutely in love with the results that I've seen from the light therapy that they're getting, that's become quite popular at the moment. So it's using LED lights, and we're seeing some phenomenal results with that. Look at your diet. Particularly, and this sounds terrible, but particularly the guys, because you know they don't tend to look after their skin topically. So you know, even if they just start, you know, maybe introducing more water or a supplement or something like that, just to really help get their skin looking at its best for them. For the women, make sure that you've got your eyebrow appointments booked in, or you're waxing, you're threading, things like that. Make sure you've got all of those sort of things. Nails as well for women. You want to make sure that they've got those booked in, and maybe are doing a course of treatments to improve their nails, because the hand photos come into it. So there's lots of things that they can be doing, but basically what you want to do is you want to find somewhere that you can trust, find somewhere that you can go to regularly, and that you know that they're getting results. So ask for their before and afters of it, and you know, put your trust in the therapist. You know, the therapists out there these days are so highly trained. For the majority, you want to make sure that you know you're putting your trust in them. They know what's going to be best for you.
Even the water's a big one, because me and Sam, she's like, you need to drink more water, because even like things, the dark lines under your got it now. We need to drink more water, you know.
It's huge. I've actually got some of my clients doing a skin challenge at the moment, and it's just like a 4-week skin challenge, and the first challenge for them was to up their water intake by 1 to 2 glasses extra a day. And I have had so many of them just say just doing that has shown improvements. And I'm like, well, okay, but there's lots more we can do.
So this is about you, but it's also about the norm. Do you travel to venues, and is it normal?
Yeah, it's probably a 50-50 split for me at the moment. So I will have people who come into salon, tends to be people who maybe are a smaller wedding party or are exceptionally large wedding party, and they just want a break from the crazy on the day. So yeah, they'll come in. For some of them will come in, but I do travel out with as well. One thing you should be aware of is if you are traveling, if you've got someone traveling to you, there will probably be a fee added to that.
Sorry, I've got my son in the background there.
Yes, there'll probably be a fee added.
There'll be a fee at the end if they travel, depending on the distance. Right, okay.
Depending on the distance. So I have 2 sort of price points for it. And for me, it's because I'm going out of the salon. It's not just, you know, paying my petrol. It's like, what's the revenue I'm losing traveling? And most people will do that. If you have a mobile artist, though, someone who doesn't have a salon base, they tend to not charge anything extra because it's already incorporated into their prices, because they don't have a base to go to.
So there's no hidden costs. It's just the fact, just to be aware.
Yeah, just to be aware of that. But yeah, I quite like going out for wedding call-outs. You know, you kind of, you feel part of it, and then I always get a wee tear because I always see the bride getting ready, and I'm like, oh my God, it's time, and then I put the veil on, and then I do my final checks, and I don't know, there's just, you feel more part of the day, I think, whereas when they come into the salon, it's like, all right, see you, bye.
Number 5. What did I have here actually? 1 second. Yeah. So tell me about the typical run-up, and I don't know whether I spoke to this before, but tell me about the typical run-up of the wedding. So that, like we said, you've got a book 6 months, right? So what's the typical run-up? What happens?
So first of all, you make contact with myself, and this is me, and I know a lot of makeup artists that do this as well. So this is quite the norm for it now. It didn't used to be this way, but what would happen then is you'd send over, I would say whether or not I can do the date. I would then send over what's known as our wedding agreement. So this just basically breaks down your terms and conditions for hiring me for the day. Very similar to like when I did my car hire for my wedding, I got the same thing. It covers things like cancellation policies and things like that. If there's anything in there that you're not sure about, you then have a chance to come back to me. We chat about it. We're happy with the agreement and the quote that comes with that. We then get it signed and then it's filed away. And then basically, say that's about 6 months before, we then get in touch and say, right, we need to book you in a trial. What dates have you got available for your trial? And then we find out when they can come to us. My trials are normally done in salon just because I have the base there and I can fit it into my day a lot easier rather than having to think, well, I've got to travel to this place. That cuts down how available I am for trials out with. So they'll come into salon then, we'll agree a date for that. Normally at this point, they would have paid their deposit. For myself, it's a 50% deposit of the final bill. And that's held within it, held until the date, and then they pay the final amount. So they have their trial. Trial with me is about an hour and a half that I spend, and we go through things and we check that they're happy with it. We check they're happy with the products we're using, the finished look, things like that. I then, and I don't know if everybody does this, I send them away and tell them to leave the makeup on for as long as possible, because a wedding is not a couple of hours. It's a full day event. You want to know how that makeup wears. So that's why I say wear it for as long as possible. So get your trial done early on and then wear it for the rest of the day if you can. Some people can't do it, but as much as possible. After the trial, we just keep in contact, really. It's not really a case of, at this point, I'd then email them. We just kind of keep in contact, touch base, check how the trial was, things like that, any changes that they want to make, all of these sort of things. And then the week of the wedding, we just reconfirm everything, make sure our timings are all right, make sure that everybody's still having the makeup done and that they're, comfortable with everything. If there's any changes, anyone's suddenly gotten, massive breakouts or turned up with a huge scar on their face, this is our chance to sort of get, because these things happen. And so we do that with it. And then it's the day of the wedding. Turn up on the day of the wedding. I'll normally have at least one coffee with me because I need them, because it's an early start usually. It's like 7:30, 8 a.m. starts. And we just basically, we're very fluid. Some brides ask us for an itinerary of, this person will be done at this point and finished at this point, and this person will be done at this point and finished. And it doesn't work that way, because all it takes is the florist to need to speak to someone, or one of the groomsmen has mislaid his tie and only the maid of honor knows where it can be, or things like that. So we're very fluid with it on the day, but we know that we will have everybody done by the time that they need to be done by. And it's just a bit more relaxed that way. Because if you've got someone, it takes someone's taxi to not turn up on time to get them to where they're getting makeup done, and then the whole itinerary's out, and you have a bride stressing, a mother of the bride stressing, the maid of honor is completely freaked out because those two are stressing, and she's like, I can't cope. So yeah.
And is that normal for that kind of relaxed? And it will be, won't it? That'll be normal. Yeah. It's
very chilled. Yeah, it's very chilled. And then the Prosecco gets opened and everything's so much more chilled. However, I would say I don't drink while I'm doing the makeup.
Well, yeah, I probably would have to. Is there anything I've missed then from my questions, or have we covered everything in terms of the advice?
kind of covered everything. One thing I would say is do make sure you have that trial. I know I've gone on about a trial quite a lot, but the other point as well is at the trial, if you're not happy, tell us. We're not going to be offended.
Yeah.
We're makeup artists. It's makeup at the end of the day. It can wash off and we can start again. That's why we give a longer bit of time for it.
Do you get a lot of people who don't turn up for the trial then, or don't do a trial?
I get a lot of people who turn up for the trial and they say they love it. And then I email them and so you still loving it? Yep, it was great, it lasted, it was perfect, exactly what I was looking for. And then on the day they're like, you know how you did this? Could we just change it? Like, okay, which doesn't faze me at all. But what the whole point of a trial isn't just to get to know me, it's to get an idea of what you're going to look like on the day.
So be honest.
Be happy. So be honest with it. It's not going to hurt my feelings if you don't like it. It's, you know, sometimes I'll look at some of the brides and I'll be like, actually, I think something else would suit you better. I'll be honest with you and tell you that. You need to be honest and tell me if you're happy with it though as well.
You've got to try something new as well. If that's you're recommending. If they don't like it, they don't like it. But so be honest and open. Open. Have a look.
And I think that's the important thing as well for brides to be as well, is that they need to make sure they can have a dialogue with people. So I'm quite sort of formal in my first instance when I email back and forward. And then by the end of like, you know, the 6 months that we've been chatting, I'm sending like 4 or 5 kisses and I'm like, it's like, see you later, but it's an abbreviated text and things like that. You almost become part of it in a bit more, it's more than just a formal, this is my makeup artist type thing. So you want to be as open as possible and choose someone that's open as well with it.
Excellent. Well, that was fantastic. And apologies for the noise in the background with my sons and stuff popping back and forward. But then again, it's all about information anyway. So here's the thing, right? So if you are watching on YouTube, you can have a look below. There's a link to the website and it'll have all of the information on there, including Aileen's information and where your vintage beauty box actually is and what you do. I've checked out the website as well, so full of information, which is great, as well as the team that you've got, which is also very good. I've checked them out as well. So yeah, it's good. I mean, it looks fantastic. For Made at 94, you can check out all of our other blogs and also what we can do in terms of the wedding element of it, but I won't go into that now. And have I got everything there? Yes. Okay, so I think that went well.
Perfect.
You've got to click off.
I'll just